Hi guys, welcome back to Sin City Living. Jason here, bringing you today's video. So today I want to talk about a little bit on the center, and what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the any 7 bet. The any 7 bet. Okay, we're not talking about the three-way 7, which is just another way of saying you're hopping the 7s. I'm talking about the actual any 7 bet. Just like there's a difference between a three-way crap and an any crap. Okay, any 7 is known for being the worst odds on the table. But I want to explore it, and I want to show you guys a little bit of why. Okay? So, first off, we're going to use some hard ways. We're going to look at the hard ways, okay? Because these all actually kind of work out the same. So, hard 6 or hard 8, they pay 9-1 or they pay 10-4-1. Most layouts are going to say 10-4-1, right? So why is that? Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it. A hard 8, right? A hard 8 has one way it can roll, okay? One way it can roll. Now, how many ways can it lose? Well, you've got 6 ways for a 7 to roll, right? So obviously it's going to lose right there. In addition, you have 4 ways an easy 8 can roll, right? So that means when I break this down, that means there's 10 ways for that hard 8 to lose, and there's 1 way for it to win. So if they paid 10-2-1, it would be true odds, and there would be no house edge whatsoever. So instead, they play 10-4-1 or 9-2-1. You guys already see where there's kind of a rough house edge built in there. Now, all of the hard ways are just like that. The hard 6 pays 10-4-1, 10 ways to win, 1 way to lose, or 10 ways to lose, 1 way to win. Hard 10 and hard 4, there's 8 ways to lose, 1 way to win, so they pay 8-4-1 or 7-2-1. What about some of the other hot bets? The 2, the 3, the 11, the 12, most people don't realize those are hot bets, but they are. Like a horn bet is just a 4-way hop, that's all it is, right? Which is why the 3 and 11 pay the exact same way as the 2-way 5, 2-way 9s do, or the, let me think, or the easy 6s, easy 8s, or the easy 4, easy 10, they pay the exact same way. Same thing with the 2 and the 12. They pay the exact same way as hopping a hard 4, a hard 6, a hard 8, or a hard 10. Okay, so the hot bets. Well, 31-4-1 on the pairs, the 2, the 12, right, which translates to 32-1. 31-4-1. There's 36 ways to lose, or I'm sorry, it's 36 combinations. 35 ways for that to lose, 1 way for it to win. So it's 35-1 odds. They pay 30-1. With the easy ways, they pay 15-1 or 16-4-1, right? There are, look at 1 in 18 shot of hitting. So 17 ways to lose, 1 way to win, roughly. 17 ways to lose, 1 way to win. They pay 16-4-1 or 15-2-1. So there, again, is a house edge built in there, but it's kind of minor because we're looking at fairly large numbers here, or larger, 17 versus 16, 17 versus 16, 17 versus 15, depending on how you want to look at it. So let's look at the any 7. Let's look at the any 7. Any 7, how many ways are there for it to win? 6 ways for it to win. How many ways are there for it to lose? 30 ways for it to lose. Well, let's divide that by 6, and you know what we get? 5-1 odds. They pay 4-1. Big, big, big difference when you start dealing with numbers that small. Big difference. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That is why the any 7 has the worst odds on the dice table. Obviously, you can do the hopping, and then that gets a little bit different. So now let's look at a couple of other things, a couple of other common questions that come up for crap. So the first one of the more common ones, pass line versus don't pass, and why do people play the don't pass? Why don't more people play the don't pass versus the pass line when the house edge is better? Now, first off, one thing I have to say, and I've said this many, many times, the illusion of the house edge. The illusion of the house edge. I do this in terms of the combat all the time. The house edge for the come bet is really good because of the part where it's in the come, just like the pass line bet, the part during the come out roll, where they have 8 ways to win and 4 ways to lose. Otherwise, they set a point, and then from that point on, the odds are against them. So, come bets, pass line bets, the odds are awesome. House edge is great on one portion of the roll. Once you get past that, at that point now, the odds and the house edge of it actually, on the next roll of the dice, the house edge on a come bet is worse than the house edge on a place bet. Same thing with a pass line bet and placing the point on the line. So we have the illusion of the house edge. People get so caught up at house edge, house edge, house edge. The thing is, craps is not a decision. It's not a one roll decision for a lot of bets. It's a long process, many rolls, and the house edge can really change. But just looking at the pass and don't pass, what are the house edges? Well, the pass line has a 1.41% house edge versus a 1.36% house edge for the don't pass. 0.05%. That is the difference between the don't pass and the pass line. 0.05%. So with such a minor difference, 0.05% difference, a lot of players will go with the pass line just because craps is a very social game. It's a very social game, and it almost feels like a team game. It almost feels like everybody that's on the pass line is playing together. So because of the social aspect of it and how many people just kind of want to get along with as little problems as possible and as little conflict as possible, will play the pass line. They'll play the pass line rather than the don't pass. I can tell you guys that I have come real close, and I'm very quiet when I play, very quiet. I've played on a bubble craps machine at a major casino. I heard the Orleans, actually, I'll say it because I don't work there and I've never worked there, but played a bubble craps machine at the Orleans. And I'll tell you this, if you play on the don't pass, every other player will, and I'm not exaggerating here, will threaten you. They'll threaten you, they'll get up, they'll menace you. And that's very common. That's very common. Now, on an actual craps table with dealers and a box, they control that up to a point. They will allow some talk to go back and forth for a little while. So a don't pass player is going to face some harassment. Absolutely, 100%. So most people just don't want to have to deal with that for a 0.05% difference. Now, another question. Why do casinos allow odds when there's no house edge? It's the only bet in the entire casino that has no house edge. There's zip, zero, nada, nothing, no house edge. So why do they allow it? Why do they allow it? Well, it's a feature. It's a feature, and when you combine it with the pass line bet, and you can't have odds without a pass line bet, or put bet, come bet, stuff like that, they have a house edge. We already covered this, 1.41 or 1.36 on a don't pass. House edge. So they have their house edge because that house edge that kind of folds in so many different things. So they already have a house edge. They have a house edge that's already built in. So the odds are a feature and a way to get people to bet. Basically, it's a way to get people to bet. And just imagine the first casino that stopped allowing odds. They would have no craps within a week. Nobody would be playing craps. They'd go next door. So that the odds are really basically never going to go away at this point because of a competition thing, partially, and partially again they've already got a house edge. They have the house edge already built in there. And the last question, and we get this semi-often, longest roll ever. Everyone's got all these little apocryphal stories. I love it when all those players that come up, oh, you got to pass me the dice, man. Every time I roll for 30 minutes. Or last night I rolled for 45 minutes. Last night I rolled for an hour and a half. I'll tell you, every single day I hear at least 2 people talk about how they rolled for an hour and a half to 2 hours sometime in the last few days. Bull. BS. Sorry, don't believe you. But also, I don't think they're lying either. I think they have a poor perception of time. So they don't realize, one, that we're doing 20-minute rotations so that we can absolutely tell roughly how long the rolls are. And also, a 25-minute roll will absolutely feel like just a massive, 45, 50-minute roll. People that roll for 15 minutes, when they, almost every single time there's a 15-minute roll, when their buddies come back up to the table or the player, new players come up, they're like, man, yeah, I rolled for 25 minutes last time around. They truly believe that. They're not lying, they're not exaggerating. They truly believe they rolled for 25 minutes. So the world record roll is 154 rolls, and it took 4 hours and 18 minutes. 4 hours and 18 minutes for this roll. That's somewhere around, 50 rolls every little bit less than an hour and a half. Every 50 rolls every hour and 15 every hour and 20 minutes. So basically a minute and a half to 2 minutes a roll. Pretty close to a minute and a half. I'd say a minute and a half to a minute 40 per roll, roughly. That sounds about right. That makes a whole lot of sense because the first set of rolls are going to go really, really fast until people really start building up these bets here, start getting crazy in there, and now we're looking at 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes between every single roll. Now, a statistician actually examined the, obviously someone with a PhD in applied mathematics, examined that roll, and the odds of that occurring, 154 rolls, a 4 hour and 18 minute roll, the odds of that occurring were 1 in 1.56 trillion. 1 in 1.5 trillion are the odds of that roll. So obviously, one day there's going to be a longer roll. One day that record is going to be broken, if it hasn't already been broken unofficially somewhere. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, guys. So that's a few of the more common questions. Why is the NE7 the worst bet on the table? And some other common questions. Hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least just plain fun. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye now.